Hello, we are live. We are live from Salt and Sand Studios. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. Just going to shut off my phone to get started. Sorry for the delay. My name is Karen, coming to you right from Vermont. And this morning, or whatever time you happen to be watching this, if it's the recording, we are going to work on a micro retreat. Kind of retreating away from our everyday for about 50 minutes, probably about 45 minutes given the late start. So let's get started. Hopefully everyone can hear me fine. Thank you for letting me know. All right, we're gonna go ahead. Find a comfortable seat. Maybe sitting on a block or a pillow. And if you had a chance to review the information, we are, if you have a blanket or a towel or something to help you out, that would be great. And in your comfortable seat, I'm going to work on the Kali Mudra today during our little micro retreat. I'll take the hands and intertwine the fingers in front of your heart. Let the right thumb come in front of the left. You can drop the shoulders, drop the elbows, and then lengthen the index fingers and drop your chin a little bit. Eyes. Find your breath. Notice here anything around the upper chest, the throat, the neck, where you might be holding some tension. Allow the lips to remain closed and separate the teeth so you have sort of a long face. I'm going to work a little hum here and vary that hum, maybe sort of the sound of Om. Let the breath come nice and long. Consider any tension that might be now around the lower part of the neck, the little nodule that you have, the divot actually at the lower neck in the front, and maybe the shoulders. See if they can relax a little bit. Loosen the calves. Notice any sense that is at the forefront of your awareness, whether sound or scent, taste, touch, perhaps the touch of the air on your skin, sight, even if it's insight. We spend much of our time preparing for the future, looking at the past, loving others, taking care of others. This is next 45 minutes of self-care, of micro retreat, getting away from the everyday, knowing that you are loved and you give love. Breathe in. Breathe out fully. Breathe in and out fully. Continue that breath, perhaps adding a little constriction at the back of your throat for Ujjayi breath, the breath of victory. And consider something to guide you for the time on your mat today. Maybe something aspirational, maybe something very simple. Drop the hands by your side so the fingers brush on the mat. Broaden the collarbones. Begin to feel the energy at your center chest. Consider something that allows you to feel happy, not just smiling or laughing, but whole body happy. Maybe that is your own smile, or perhaps it is a special place or a friend. Feel how that warms up the center chest and allow it to spread across the shoulders, up the neck into the top of the head and downward to the tailbone, and from the hips all the way to the toes. On your next breath in, sweep the arms up overhead. Let the palms reach high, fingertips like they could tickle the clouds. Draw the belly in and up, make space between the lower ribs and the hip bones. Big breath in. Then take a twist over to the right. Left palm on your chest and the right arm behind you. Drop the right hand down to the mat behind your hip or your cushion. Breathe in, get tall. Exhale, twist over to the right. If you have the space to do so, you might drop the right hand onto or outside, the left hand onto or outside the right thigh. On an inhale, come to the center, sweep the arms high overhead. This time, right hand to the heart and the left arm reaches behind. And the right hand drops to the mat, left hand drops to the mat. We breathe and get tall. Guessing I'm having a little left-right issue today. Exhale, twist. Inhale, come back through center. Both arms reach high, palms pressed together there. Belly is super long. Draw the tailbone down. Bring the fingertips behind the nape of the neck or maybe between the shoulder blades. Pause here as you use the forearms like pillows to press the head back in. And you can intertwine the fingers and press the hands flat against the lower part of the head. Thumbs draw to the sides of the neck. Elbows draw outward. Perhaps a little massage of the neck with the thumbs. Keeping the head pressed into the hands, long breath in, sit nice and tall. Breathe out, tilt to the right. Finding a little bit of opening, of expansiveness all along the right side of the body. The Kali Mudra is a mudra of expansiveness, of purification. So when we come to the end of class, we'll take the same mudra, but for this point in time, we're working to purify and expand the left side of the body. Inhale, lift the spine long. Exhale, tilt to the opposite side. Maybe the gaze shifts a little toward the corner of the right eye. Inhale, rise up. We're going to drop the fingertips back outside the hips and draw them around in front of the shins. Pause here for a moment. Let the neck get nice and long. When you draw the belly up, you tuck the tailbone down. That gives you some space to work with to walk the fingers forward. And here, maybe notice as you drop the head, working your long spine, the temperature of whatever is underneath your fingertips, the texture. Maybe you have taken the opportunity to light some incense, or maybe not. You could notice a sense of smell, perhaps your own skin. Hands walk back toward the hips so you can shift onto the sacrum. Float the legs up and switch the cross of the legs. Hands once again sweep around in front. Nice long spine. Draw the navel in toward the spine, tailbone down. Make that real estate to walk the hands forward a bit more and find a deeper fold. Perhaps now the sense of sound. Maybe there is the Zen music you're playing that we offered up for this particular micro retreat, or perhaps the sound of something ticking or birds outside your space. Hands walk back. If you're sitting on something, you can go ahead and shift off it. Move it away from the mat. Go ahead and draw the soles of the feet to the mat so the knees point toward the sky. Bring the palms to the kneecaps. Press the big toe mounds into the mat and lift the heart. You're extending the spine and the front body, dropping the shoulders a little bit away from the ears, and allowing the back of the neck to be long, which might mean tucking the chin a little bit. Imagining that you're lifting the crown of the head, perhaps this beautiful sense of light or energy drawn right out of the crown of the head to the sun. Soles of the feet come together so the knees can drop out to the edges of your mat. Walk the feet forward a little bit, creating a nice big diamond inside the legs. I'm going to stay upright for a moment with the hands perhaps on the shins or the calves. And again, imagine that the collarbone is getting so wide and broad that the shoulders start to take up more space. If accessible, the wrists come underneath the ankles, and the tops of the hands come to the palms of the hands come to the tops of the feet. Energy into the elbows shifts the heart forward, the spine nice and long. Reach as far as you can. Before you round into the spine, you're going to scoop the belly in a little bit and drop the head. It's as if your head was one of those few grains of sand that finds its way inside an oyster. The oyster is polishing it up. Pearls of wisdom. On an inhale, rise back to your seat. Take your palms outside your knees and press the knees high. Soles of the feet return to the mat. The arms reach in front. We lift the heart once more, just like we did when the hands were on the kneecaps. I'm going to slowly, with the belly strong and a long spine, roll down to the mat, finding your way once the lowest vertebra touch the mat to unroll like the opposite of a tube of toothpaste, drawing the arms overhead and seeing if you can extend one leg at a time onto the mat. You're going to take a little side bend, almost like we're creating a half moon shape. You're going to take the left foot to the outside of the mat and let the right foot follow. Then take the left arm outside the mat and let the right follow. Much like we did when we were seated, but the whole body is so involved in this half moon posture. You might even feel an opening along the underarms here. Continue to press the low back to the mat. One at a time, the hands come back overhead. The feet extend back onto the mat. You take a pencil stretch, maybe hooking the thumbs overhead, spreading the fingers wide like bird feathers and reaching the toes forward and the fingers behind you. Breath in nice and deep. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Sip in a little more air and release it all. Taking our expansive stretch to the other side, the right hand comes out to the right, the left hand follows. The right leg comes outside the mat and the left foot follows. Our half moon, is it waxing or waning? Your choice. I'm feeling here any difference on this side than you felt on the other side. For me, there's a more effort or stretch in the shoulder than under the arm on this side. Left foot moves back to the left, right foot moves back to the mat, left hand, right hand. Press the palms together overhead, lift the arms straight to the sky, fingertips reaching. We'll take the Kali Mudra once more, this time with the heels of the hands facing the heart. So intertwine all of the fingers, cross the right thumb over the left, point the index fingers to the sky, press them together. Lift the shoulder blades away from the mat and we'll release the mudra and the shoulder blades, letting the arms separate, hands separate as the shoulder blades come to the mat. We'll move into a cactus shape of arms with the backs of the hands on the mat. We're going to press into the ground, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lifting the heart. Imagine that the heart energy is drawing up over the face and behind the head. Relax it all into the mat. One foot at a time comes to the mat with the knees bending toward the sky. Let both knees now move in toward the heart, extending the low back onto the spine, the low back onto the mat, the shoulder blades onto the mat. Once again, the palms come to the kneecaps. This time we take knee circles. You might keep the feet active here, or maybe you move the feet even as you move the knees. Sort of like walking and chewing gum at the same time. And remembering here that you are loved and you give love, allowing yourself the freedom and the purification of that understanding. Now with the knees hugging into the chest, breathe out. Let the knees come back over the hips so the shins come parallel to the mat. If it feels better for you, you could shift the hips off the mat one at a time and place the hands underneath you. You'll go ahead and extend the right leg nice and long away from the hip, lowering it slightly. Heel reaches forward, let the shoulder blades remain on the mat. Point the toes. Reach the heel. Reach the leg nice and long toward the sky. And draw the knee back over the hip. We'll take that on the other side. Left leg extends and lowers, although it doesn't touch the mat. Heel reaches, reaches, reaches. Then the toes point. Reach the heel once more. Gently float the leg high, nice and long. And bend the knee. Arms wrap around the shins, or maybe just the hands do. Take a little bit of rock left and right, and then move forward and backward until you come to a seat. We're going to find our way into a twist, bringing the heel of the right foot underneath the left glute and placing the left foot onto the mat. Left hand comes out, right hand comes outside the left knee. Left hand is your guide. Tall, tall, tall breath in. Exhale, twist. Breathe in. And twist. Once again, in. And twist. See where the tension might be holding on to the shoulders or the neck. Inhale, come through center. Take the same twist to the other side, simply switching across, the left heel coming underneath your right glute, your right foot on the mat. Breathe in, get tall. Exhale, twist. Inhale again, long. And breathe out, twist. One more time. Inhale, return to center. Go ahead and take your cushion or your blanket. If you have a blanket, you're going to roll it up so we can place it underneath an extended right leg, right under the knee. Might need to shift around. Go ahead and take the left foot, place it to the inseam of the right leg. So your right leg has a nice bend in the knee. If you need a little support for the left hip or knee, you can place something underneath it. Oh, that feels so comfortable as you sit up nice and tall. Exhale, right toes toward the sky, fold over your leg. You know, the human form, the human being is the only being that experiences all of the senses as we do. There's no other being that experiences the world with this much opportunity. And even though we may have one sense that is not working or perhaps doesn't exist, our other senses make up for that. It's pretty cool. So notice whichever sense comes to the front of your mind here. Maybe it's sight. Maybe it is scent. Perhaps even taste. Once you reach your edge, you're going to take a nice deep breath in and lift the heart once more. Gather the belly in to create that real estate. Hands walk forward for your fold. Breathe in, rise up to your seat. I'm going to go ahead and extend both legs onto the mat and scoot your cushion or rolled up towel or blanket underneath the knees. Reach the heels forward, point the toes to the sky, sit up nice and tall. Exhale for a fold over your legs. Again, when you reach the edge, you feel like you're at your limit. Take a tiny lift up. Heart comes forward, navel moves into the spine, and then drape over the legs. Inhale, rise up. Scoot your blanket or towel or cushion underneath the left knee only, so the left knee is bent and supported. The sole of the right foot comes to the left inseam, right around the calf. We sit up super tall. Heart expands the collarbones, expand the shoulders. Allow the shoulder blades to squeeze in a little bit. Ribs lift from the hips. Heart lifts. Crown of the head lifts. Heart forward. Long spine. Breathe out, fold. Inhale, one more beautiful big breath. to lift the heart, extend the spine, belly moves in and up to fold perhaps a little deeper. On a breath in, rise back up. We'll take Paschimottanasana, supported one more time by scooching our rolled up item or cushion underneath both knees. Relax the knees. Imagine there's like a little sweet spot behind the knees that just loves pressing against that piece. We're going to rise with the low ribs and the hips. And exhale, walk the hands forward. Paschimottanasana, our seated double-legged forward fold. Sometimes the feet love to send the pinky toe side toward the front of the mat. You're going to really work it toward the shoulders. If you happen to reach your feet, excellent. If you don't happen to reach your feet, also excellent. Your practice, what works for your body, exploring the world around us and the world inside us from the perspective of the observer, utilizing all the tools available to us, the breath, the mind, and all of the senses. Breathe in, rise up. Go ahead and find the soles of the feet, drawing together once more. We'll sit up for an upright Baddha Konasana, seeing if perhaps you can scoot your sitting bones a little closer to the heels, and maybe you hang on to the ankles a little bit to find a long spine. Perhaps props, blankets, pillows, whatever they are, outside the knees. We sit up super tall. If you like and it feels okay for your body, you might take the thumbs, place them inside the arches of the feet to peel the feet open like you're opening up a book. And maybe again, only if it feels okay though, you're going to scoop the belly in, round the spine, and drop the head. The elbows can help you press the knees away. A breath in returns you to your seat. Props get removed. So you can shift over onto one hip and make our way into a tabletop. In the tabletop, finger pads and thumb pad are pressed into the mat, allowing the center of the hand to do this sort of little push-up. And rather than rounding into the spine or dropping the belly or the hips, we're going to draw everything as long and straight as we can. If you need to place something under your hips or under your knees or fold over your mat to make it more comfortable, allow that to happen. Tap the tops of the feet onto the mat. Touch. You can get texture and temperature. You also get sound. We're going to shift the sitting bones back to the heels. Draw the backs of the hands onto the mat so that the fingers are pointing toward your knees. And here is where you might stay, or you might lift the sitting bones away from the mat, find a little rocking forward and backward. And if you've got more space to work with in the outer wrists, perhaps you make fists of your hands, which can be a little bit more intense or a lot of it more intense. Next time the sitting bones come to the heels, unwrap the hands. Point the fingers either out to the sides of the mat, or maybe you lift the sitting bones away a little bit more and point the fingers toward the knees. They might not make it all the way there. And again, we find a little forward and back if that works for you. Hands come back underneath the shoulders, feet as wide as your knees, and knees only as wide as the hips, so adjust if need be. This time we will find cow shape and cat shape. On the breath in, the belly drops, the gaze and the shoulders lift. Still press the ground away. Don't forget about the tops of the feet. Exhale, press the floor away with the shins, the hands, the tops of the feet, round into the spine. That sort of cat shape. We're not quite there for Halloween yet, but really working that spine nice and round. Inhale, drop the belly, gaze and hips lift up. Exhale, round the spine, press the floor away. And one more time. And away. And work into a neutral spine so we can use the belly and the glutes and the right quad and hamstrings to float the right leg off the mat. We're going to find ourselves long and strong as we reach the heel behind and float the left arm in front. Micro retreat lets us power up and energy down, or energize up and power down, one of those things. Exhale, knee and elbow come toward each other. Breathe and extend. Exhale, left hand drops to the mat. A little peek over the left shoulder so you swing the right leg above the left. Draw the top of the foot onto the floor outside the left side of the mat and glide your right hip toward your left heel. Starting to open up even more the whole left side, hip, glutes, sciatic nerve. Maybe the forearms come to the mat, the head can drop, but we're rounding a little between the shoulders. If it feels better to take a prop under your head or your chest, to go ahead and do that. We square off the hands to the shoulders. Use the glutes and the belly to rise back up, three-legged tabletop. We're going to go ahead and bend the knee as if we're stepping on the sky, then pump that leg up and down, working the hamstrings and the quad. And like we were doing a three-legged open dog, we're going to go ahead and stack the hips right over the left, seeing if you can keep the heart and shoulders square to the mat. You might take ankle circles, open and close the toes, draw the knee back toward the mat, extend the leg one more time, knee to nose, and the knee drops to the mat. Maybe a little sway left and right feels good, or forward and back. We'll take all that to the other side. Left leg reaches behind, long and strong. Hips face the mat. Right arm floats in front. Powered up. Belly working for you. Exhale, knee and elbow together. Inhale, extend. Right hand drops. Gaze moves to the right. Left leg reaches across and outside the mat. You're on the top of the foot, gliding the front of the left hip toward the right heel. Forearms down. Hands come back and square under your shoulders. Left leg lifts, knee bends as if you're going to step on the clouds. Pump the leg up and down. Knee to nose. Bent knee back out. Stack your hips, left over right. Knee comes parallel to the mat and drops back down to the mat. A child's pose with your knees together, if that works for you. If that's difficult, you might have wide knees, or maybe you place a rolled up blanket or a towel behind the knees. Take the right hand and sweep it toward the feet. See if the gaze can move to the left so you're on your right ear. And sweep the left hand back. Forehead returns to the mat. Right arm sweeps in front and the gaze turns over to the right. Forehead comes back to the mat, arms sweep around. We come to kneeling. Hands on the thighs. Find a little cat and cow work. Heels of the hands reach toward the knees to round into the spine. Then the heels of the hands reach back toward the hips to arch the spine. We return to a neutral spine. Find your blanket or towel, or maybe it's not a very fluffy pillow. We're going to find a place where the edge of the blanket or towel or pillow is kind of rounded. Place that toward the knees. And then as you lie down, you're going to align the low ribs with that fold. Hands can be overhead in a cactus shape, but the forehead is on the mat. I'm going to go ahead and bring my left hand to the back of the right hand and drop my forehead there. Adjusting as you need to find comfort, lengthen the low back. Maybe the feet are spread as wide as your mat. Use the breath to settle in to the prop, allowing a bit of relaxation. We're going to press the ground away with the forearms to rise a little into a teeny tiny back bend. And place the left elbow underneath the left shoulder. See if you can remove your prop. It might not be that simple, so if you need to adjust around, go ahead. Extend the left arm a bit and scoot the right arm behind the wrist. Bring the left knee to a bend like you are in a tree. And then we're going to go ahead and place the palm of the left hand on top of the palm of the right. Head's going to drop. It's not going to reach the ground, possibly. We're going to go ahead and make our way into a twist. So really slowly, glide the left hand to the right wrist. Begin to move on to the shoulder blade as the hand moves toward the right elbow. Then it reaches the shoulder. As it comes into contact with the collarbone, the arm can sweep around and flop out to the left. If you need to place something underneath your knee, your left knee, go ahead and make that happen. I'm going to grab a block to demonstrate. Very slowly and gently, you'll find your way back to your belly, unwinding from this to move into the twist on the other side. Right elbow underneath the right shoulder. Left arm threads behind it. Right knee bends like you're in tree. And then the right hand palm rests on the left palm. Begin to move on to the left hip as you draw like a little massage the right hand up the inner left arm, across to the shoulder and the collarbones. If you're me, you're all the way off your mat now. And the right hand flops outward. The gaze follows if it feels okay. Make your way back to your belly, into a child's pose. This time, knees nice and wide. Imagine that the low back, the sacrum, could spread as wide as the mat. Palms return to the mat. Find your way to a seat and all the way onto your back. A little extra long Shavasana for this micro retreat. We'll hug the knees once more into the heart. Find a little bit of knee circle. And move into your final resting posture. If you'd like to take that with Supta Baddha Konasana shape, a hand on the belly and a hand on the heart, legs up the wall, maybe knees bent and touching one another. Or the most complete expression with the legs extended onto the mat, feet wide, hands by your sides, palms face upward. Shoulder blades kiss the mat. Maybe the head rocks a little left and right. Big breath in. Then release through the nose. Your awareness is drawn to the back of the body, heavy on the mat. Connected, grounded to the earth, the material world. The sense of touch, of pressure, of gravity, of air. With that air, on that air, the sense of smell, the scent of your own skin, or incense, or oils. And so tied to the sense of smell, our entire olfactory experience, the sense of taste. Maybe vestiges of a meal or a cup of tea. Perhaps it's a taste memory. And just as powerful as a sense of taste can be, so too the sense of sight. All of the wonders that are taken in by the rods and cones, received by the brain. Perhaps even with your eyes closed, you see color, light, shape, images. Or maybe the sight is insight. Or the sense of sound. Your breath. your heartbeat, other sounds inside the body. And a sense of being loved and of giving love. Gently, your awareness returns to the body, allowing the breath to deepen, and with deepening breath, movement returns. And maybe that movement feels very different from any movement that took place thus far today. Perhaps it's more graceful, more languid, slower, or maybe it has more energy, more power. Eventually, you can bend one knee at a time to roll over onto your side. And let the knees draw into the heart, finding a lovely, nourishing fetal position where the mind rests back once more on that which guided your practice, an intention, a motivation. Now consider how you'd like to live out the rest of your day, perhaps with the senses foremost, maybe a particular aspiration or emotion. Let the head be heavy as you press yourself back to a comfortable seat. The eyes might remain closed here. Palms come together at your heart. We'll take that Kali Mudra one more time. Fingers intertwine. Right thumb over the left, and then the index fingers point to the sky. The mudra, the hand gesture, moves toward your throat. Big breath in. Gentle breath out. Some knuckles move to the center forehead. May you find retreat from your everyday inside yourself. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining Salt and Sand Studios in Warren, Vermont, but obviously over the interwebs. Great to have you here for a micro retreat, and hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we will see you soon. My name is Karen. Please like, share, donate, come back, and subscribe. Have a good one. Bye.